Peace to everybody, back with another video. This is You Are Not Going to Die from C-19. So yes, there's the title that says that you are not going to die from C-19. So don't believe everything that the news media is telling you, because you know it's all full of garbage. They're not telling you the truth. So, and as you can see here are a lot of sheeps that are wearing masks because they're not waking up like they're supposed to. Good news. Please see the accompanying table. If you are under 65 in reasonably good health and do not have a vitamin D deficiency, you have only a tiny chance of dying from C-19. And if you are younger than 34, your chances of dying from the virus are so small as to be almost statistically undetectable. On the other hand, if you are 85 or older, you are in a nursing home, have serious health problems, and a vitamin D deficiency, you may be in real danger. If you are exposed to the virus, but only a tiny portion of the population is in such a condition. Yes, so if you are totally under 65 years old, you do not have a vitamin D deficiency, you have only a very tiny chance of dying from C-19. So that's for everybody who's under 65, okay? And if you are younger than 34, your chances of dying from the virus are so small as to be almost statistically undetectable. So if you're under 34, you have a very tiny chance of that. Now, if you are 85 or older, then that's a different story. Are in a nursing home, have serious health problems, and a vitamin D deficiency, you may be in real danger. So you got to take a look at yourself and ask yourself, why is the news media telling all these lies, and why do we have to wear masks when we don't have to? Excuse me, but masks are not required. You do not have to wear a mask. Thank you. The U.S. population is about 330 million, and the number of people who die each year from all causes is about 2.85 million, or a bit less than 1%. To date, less than 100,000 people in the United States have died from C-19, or 0.03%. The peak in deaths appears to have already occurred, but even if the number of deaths doubles from the current level, which is almost unlikely, the total will be well under 1/10 of 1%. Alright, so there's 330 million people on this planet. Okay, so you kind of figure, each year people are dying, but it's not because of the C-19 virus. And these doctors are forced to lie and say, yeah, well, they're forced to put on a death certificate. Oh, C-19. Everything C-19. That means if you have a heart attack, C-19. If you die from pneumonia, C-19. If you have a broken bone, C-19. What kind of crap is that? Why should the doctors have to lie and put that on the death certificate? And the number of people who die each year from all causes is about 2.5 million, or a bit less than 1%. So there's only like one teeny little percent of it. To date, less than 100,000 people in the United States have died from C-19, or 0.03%. So that's anybody over 85 and older. So those are the people that are the ones that have passed away. But if you're a little bit younger, And I'm not saying all the way down like in your teens, 20s, or whatever. Not that far young. But I mean like under 85, like a little younger, like 60s or 50s. Nobody's dying unless something happens, unless there's a heart failure or whatever. The peak in deaths appears to have already occurred, but even if the numbers of deaths doubles from the current level, which is most unlikely, the total will be well under 0.1%. So that means it's only 1%. That doesn't mean everybody's dying in the same day, because that's impossible. Alright, here's the thing for the table thing. As you can see here, in bold letters, it says stop worrying. So here is the annual probability of dying in the United States. So these are not high at all, except for 85 and over. That's it. But everybody else on this thing, on this table thing, is lower. That's all it is. Political leaders have shut down much of the world economy on the basis of bad information and the failure to ask the right questions. Any action to try to stop the spread of the virus should have been accompanied with a competent estimate of how many net lives would be saved by the action. Yes, so political leaders have shut down much of the world economy, and that was a big mistake right there, because the economy had crashed and businesses are still closed, but slowly they're opening back up. And of course the political leaders are getting misinformation, bad information, and the failure to ask the right questions. Any action to try to stop the spread of the virus should have been accompanied with a competent estimate of how many net lives would be saved by the action. So you have to go by what this tells you. This picture up here tells you, where it says stop worrying. Annual probability of dying in the United States. So this is the right table right here. Not like what the news media is telling you, oh, blah, 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 this many people. Nah, stop it. Stop believing them. You only got 1%. That's it. Nothing else. Net lives means how many people would die from C-19 compared to all of the additional lives lost through delayed diagnosis and treatments of cancer, heart disease, and all other ailments due to the C-19 shutdown. The number of additional suicides and the misery of losing tens of thousands of small businesses and the loss of liberty also needed to be factored in. Very little of any of that was done. So yeah, you have to go by what the net lives means, how many people would die from C-19 compared to all the additional lives lost through delayed diagnosis. In other words, if you have like cancer or something, or say like somebody who died from cancer, they'll mark it on a death certificate, C-19. Huh? Why would you put that on there? And knowing the real truth that somebody died from cancer. Heart disease, that's another big issue. If somebody died from heart disease, they put on a death certificate, C-19. Excuse me, why are you putting that on there when it was really heart disease? This is why nobody's telling the truth. And all other ailments due to the C-19 shutdown. So like if you have a respiratory problem, death certificate, C-19. Excuse me, why? Why are you putting C-19 through on everything instead of putting the real truth on there? Early in the year, the leaders of the World Health Organization said the virus was unlikely to be transmitted from human to human, given its animal origin and probably would not be a big threat. It soon became apparent that who had been wrong and the threat was real. The folks at who were soon exposed as Chinese puppets, communists lying. Who would have thought a group of the Imperial College in the UK promoted a model that forecast 2 million or so deaths in the US and millions everywhere from the virus? So yeah, early in the year, the leaders of the World Health Organization said the virus was unlikely to be transmitted from human to human, given its animal origin, and probably would not be a big threat. But then all of a sudden they turn around and says, "Oh, they had been wrong." Excuse me, how can it be a threat from human to human and there's no proof of it anywhere? It soon became apparent that who had been wrong and the threat was real. How can it be real if it's going from human to human? It's impossible. I mean, this 6 feet social distancing is ridiculous. First of all, it's full of garbage, and I could tell you that much. But there's no proof of it that anywhere that it could be transmitted from human to human. Not even animals. Animals always have the viruses in them. But that doesn't mean they're going to spread it all over to humans. Animals are the carriers of the viruses, but they know how to deal with it just like we do. It caused panic among the medical, political, and media elites, which resulted in the worldwide shutdown. The model turned out to be deeply flawed, overstating the likely death toll by over 20-fold, aka gross incompetence or worse. Yeah, so with all the media, the medical, political, and media elites, which resulted in the worldwide shutdown. So they have planned all this out long ago. Oh, we're going to shut down the economy. We're going to put our fake economy up so people can fall for it. Excuse me, wake up, people. This is America. We are free. And you're going to do what they're telling you to do? No, excuse me. Sheeps, wake up. The fraudulent model was neither closely examined initially nor rejected because it served certain political and media interests. Political opponents of President Trump were quick to blame him for not acting quickly enough, while ignoring the fact that when he shut down China travel on January 31st, they had criticized him for overreacting. Yeah, so this is what the elites were doing. They were blaming Donald Trump for everything. Oh, it's Donald. Oh, we're going to blame Donald Trump for everything. Yeah, okay, whatever. And look what the elites are doing. They're telling you, they're your masters. That's what they are, and you're listening to them. Excuse me, get out of that phase. Get out of that phase. These elites don't care about you. They only care about politics and what fits their agenda. The news media, they're lying too. They're saying, "Oh well, this many people died. Oh, and you must wear a mask." Excuse me, when did your masters ever tell you to wear a mask? Do you have to do everything what your masters tell you? No, I don't think so. Stop listening to these people. Turn the TV off. Turn the news off. Read a Bible. That's what it's for. This is why so many people are lost, because nobody wants to come back home, come back to Jesus himself. And we are lost because of all this fake propaganda crap that is going on, and all these elites are blaming Donald Trump for everything. Well, he's and just what, this past weekend, the elites were accusing Donald Trump. Oh well, he goes golfing every day. Excuse me, this is the first time in 3 months that Donald Trump went to play golf. 3 months! And here they're going to blame him for all of this mess? You can't blame nobody. Stop playing the blame game on people. It's stupid and ridiculous. The media love the story because fear sells newspapers and increases TV ratings. And they could blame it on the hated Mr. Trump. But as typical with the many in the media, they did not think beyond stage one. And as the economy was needlessly sent into the tank, advertisers withdrew circulations. The rating may be up, but fewer advertisers are paying the freight. So many of those who promoted the panic are and will be losing their jobs. Divine justice. Yes, so see, this is what happens. You're going to believe everything the media tells you because it sells fear. Newspapers and increases TV ratings. That's what they want. TV ratings. Turn the TV off. Stop believing it. Stop being in fear. God did not give us fear. He wants us to be warriors. And that's what we should be. Warriors. Stop believing everything, because look what it says at the beginning right here. The media loved the story because fear sells. Get it, people? Fear sells. Newspapers, it increases TV ratings. Is this how you want to live your life now? All this stuff was for TV ratings, because they wanted to boost up their ratings. Yeah, we got good ratings. We're making everybody scared. This is what they love doing. This is why I don't watch TV, except for my shows. And I just had my 3 hours of wrestling. Serious scholars like Professor Anne Marie Knott of Washington University in St. Louis, a mathematician who also understands economics, has prepared a very clear short presentation. Why you haven't caught C-19, explaining how the data demonstrates that most people, especially the young, will never contract the virus, and for those who do, most will have a totally benign or mild reaction. So that's all it is, benign or mild reaction. That's all it is. It's a seasonal flu. Dr. Fauci, whatever name he wants to go by, took the influenza and turned it into C-19 virus. Hello, truth exposed. Alright, serious scholars like Professor Anne Marie Knott of Washington University in St. Louis, a mathematician who also understands economics, has prepared a very short presentation. And she's why you haven't caught C-19, explaining how the data dominates that most people, especially the young, will never contract the virus. And for those who do, will have a totally benign or mild reaction. So that's all it is, a benign or mild reaction. Nothing serious. It's not like you're going to die anytime soon. Now, so don't get your shoes in a bunch, because it's only a very, very tiny chance. Her presentation may be found on YouTube at Anne Marie Knott, Why You Haven't Caught COVID-19. Again, the only real danger is for a very small percentage of people over 65, except for those 85 and older who have other serious problems. Ms. Knott's analysis clearly shows that the cost of the shutdown are greatly exceeding the benefits. So she does have a YouTube channel. It's called Anne Marie Knott, Why You Haven't Caught COVID-19, and I'm sorry for saying that, but I know how YouTube gets. Again, the only real danger is for a very small percentage of people over 65. So you're under 65, you're not going to die. So stop thinking about that, because it's not, you're not going to die anytime soon unless something happens, unless you have heart disease, cancer, respiratory problems, or whatever. So that's, and of course, everything has got to be C-19. C-19 this, C-19 that. Excuse me? Tell your doctor to put the real death instead of the C-19 virus. Thank you. Mr. Trump's political leaders in both parties, and particularly the mainstream media, were too easily seduced by well-meaning experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci, Fauci, whatever you want to call him. Most of the medical experts understandably have a very narrow focus and do not fully consider total costs and benefits of their recommendations and actions. So yeah, so everybody was blaming Trump, and you think these demon rats are not going to blame him for everything? Excuse me. Yes, they are blaming him for everything. Oh, Mr. President, it's your fault. Mr. President, how are you handling this? Why are you letting people... Excuse me, turn the stupid TV off. Or change it to another channel. Stop believing what they're telling you, because it's all propaganda. These were planned out months ago. Now that we have significant global data and petri dish experiments from U.S. Navy and commercial cruise ships that were quarantined for more than 14 days, to understand the real risk of various groups, there is no longer justification for most restrictions on those under 65. Resources should be concentrated on the elderly with underlying conditions, and the rest of humanity should be allowed to go free and resume normal lives. Yes, so you are allowed to go back to your normal lives. Stop believing everything that you see, because and stop wearing masks because you look ridiculous with them. Okay, now that we have significant global data and petri dish experiments, in other words from the U.S. Navy and commercial cruise ships, to understand the real risk of various groups, there is no longer justification for most restrictions on those under 65. So anybody under 65, there is no restrictions whatsoever. Resources should be concentrated on the elderly with underlying conditions. So that means like respiratory problems or heart disease problems, that are like 85 and older. So that's it. But if you're under 65, you are not going to die anytime soon. So unless you're in a car crash or something else happened, that's it. So stop believing everything that you see on TV, because this is what they love, the ratings. The news media loves the ratings, and here you're falling for it like a sheeps, wake up. You're not going to die. Stop believing what the news media tells you, because they're full of garbage. They admit it. They love fear. Do you not understand that? God did not give us fear. He gave us to be warriors. We have our civil rights. You were born with your civil rights. That means you're an American. You're free. Think about it, people. Leave your comments below. I am out.